first thing I noticed is the key is actually quite hard to get into, and the TFT screen is quite a lot smaller than I'm used to too. So let's just see how we go. We've got different modes, A, B, standard. We'll keep it to standard for now, and we will start the Yamaha GT Tracer 900.
So at this point I realised that the microphone on the GoPro was not connected properly due to the fact that I had the wrong lead with me. So all you got is a whole lot of wind noise here. So this is my little sort of talk over. As you can see, the bike just handles a corner beautifully. It's a very nimble bike and it just turns the corners very, very accurately. The little windscreen at the front is still a bit crap really, but of course easily fixed with aftermarket parts. I'm just going out of the back of Napier here and just tooting around this roundabout. Again, you put the bike in, a few little bumps on the road there, tends to be a little bit jarring. So the Tracer 900 GT has the same triple motor, the 847cc, as the MT-09. Still lots of grunt, good throttle response as well, heaps of grunt when you open it up. With this particular bike you do get the slipper clutch as standard, and this GT version comes with a quick shifter, which is nice and slick. The engine is I guess the big point of this whole bike is lots of good reviews, lots of good responses back about that amazing triple engine. I think it's the main selling point, and it feels just great in the Sports Tourer. Again, around the corners, no problem at all. Nice when the bike goes from one to a right to a left and sort of kick back again. It just moves very, very nice. There's no weird feeling in the middle of that full movement. In New Zealand they're around $21,000. For that, of course, that's the GT model with adjustable forks. You've got shock with remote preload adjuster. You get those panniers, the coloured matched panniers, full colour dash and heated grips, cruise control, and that quick shifter. So it's quite a good package for that price. It's value for money compared to some of its competitors. And of course you have got that traction control, ABS and 3 power modes as well. So this bike is reasonably quick, 0 to 100k, compared to my Triumph 800. It is quite a bit quicker than the Triumph, but the payoff is, I think the Triumph is more comfortable to ride.
So what have we learnt so far on the GT 900? Very nimble, nice and light to move around, plenty of grunt, a little bit of a harsher ride than the Triumph 800, and I guess that's due to its bit more of a sports nature. Brakes are good, dash you can live with. That TFT screen is a bit smaller. Yeah, look, it's a fun bike. It's a bit more spirited than the Triumph 800, but for longer hauls with the harsher suspension, yeah, it's just a little bit firmer ride, I guess. The switch gear feels a little bit cheap, if anything. The switch gear, the way that they move. Yeah, look, I could hop on that and ride hundreds of kilometres, no problem at all. But I just think the Triumph has a more of a luxurious ride, handles the dips in the road a bit better. There was a point where I felt the front go a little bit light on me around the corner. It's all about the motor with these bikes. That motor is just superb. Not everyone's taste, the sort of transformer type look of it. I'm not too keen on the blue mags either, let's be honest. I think that'd be better in black as well. But that's a typical, that is the Yamaha colour, and that is the way Yamaha like to produce these bikes. Being the GT, of course, you've got the slightly softer seat. I'm saying that I'd hate to try the firm seat because I found that still quite firm. I think it's got slightly softer suspension than the standard Tracer 900, and this one will have cruise control. I think it's got a quick shift on it. Yeah, it looks like it has. Let's carry on anyway. Let's see how we go. Easy to get over onto the seat with. Pretty good position. The legs are slightly further back than on the Triumph. Right, we'll move on.
Alrighty, so overtaking is just not a problem with this bike. I think 113 brake horsepower and about 65 foot-pounds of torque. It just gets the job done. Nice and easy, no need to change down gears. Yep, nice and sporty. Probably one of the most sportiest adventure bikes around.
So, what are our final thoughts? Yes, it's a bit quicker than the Triumph. It's a bit lighter on the road, a little bit more nimble, not as planted as the Triumph. Side stand's a bitch to get out. A couple of times I fumbled on that one. I might be just getting used to it though. When you go for a bump, you just got to watch that throttle, because if it slightly loses traction and comes back on, the bike is quite twitchy. And that's on standard mode, not even the faster mode. Throttle response is a bit twitchy. Similar to the Versys 1000. This bike rides more like a 4-cylinder than a 2-cylinder, but of course it is actually a triple, so it sits in the middle. But I feel it's more towards the 4-cylinder type of bike. Well, that's it. That's a quick wrap up. Sorry I didn't have much on a microphone today, but yeah, it is what it is. And that's my quick review of a Tracer 900 GT. Okay, so here we go. This is it, folks. This is the first ride I've had on a 3-wheeler. Look at that. 15-inch tyres at the front. Michelin Road Pilot 5s on them. Nice. This could be a lot of fun. This could be bloody interesting. So let's go for a run and see. Different modes. Go for the middle mode and see what happens, eh? The whole thing about these tyres at the front is they keep talking about in the wet it's much more stable, but living in New Zealand we don't get that much rain really when we're riding.
Okay, so here we are on the Nikon 900. Quite a different ride, I've got to say. Despite having 3 wheels, the Nikon sort of feels like any other motorcycle to ride really. And at 263 kgs, that extra 36 kgs from the GT Tracer, it's hardly noticeable. Same motor. The motor, incidentally, is the same motor as the MT-09 as well. I would suggest MT-09, then Tracer, then this Nikon. Same motor, but slower as you go down the list. The motor's a bit dulled really, but super smooth, nice for touring. You do feel like you're on a bit bigger bike, but it gives this great stability on the road. I think that extra weight on the front there, and those, of course, those two wheels, just gives it nice stability. It pulls well, never runs out of grunt, but just missing that wow factor of the GT Tracer. The small screen is horrible. I don't like it at all, and I know there's an aftermarket one available. On the straight lines at this kind of speed here, you really do feel the wind coming straight at you. Mirrors do take a bit of getting used to. You don't see much out of those mirrors. I don't know what's wrong with the design of those mirrors, but I don't think they're very, very good. No good for filtering, of course, because they're the same height as car mirrors on a car. So yeah, you just connect with car mirrors.
Okay, so here is what I've learned about this bike. The two wheels on the front have advantages and disadvantages. The advantage of the two wheels is that when you go around a corner, especially a nice smooth corner, there's no variance of the bike moving or feeling that you need to put a bit more lean on, or the bike has changes its posture somehow and it's the angles needs to be altered. There's none of that. You put it in a corner, you turn the bike in, it sits there and it tracks as if it's on rails. That's the advantage of it. The disadvantage with two wheels, of course, is you're getting more feedback through these two wheels on uneven surfaces of the road. So on a normal bike, if you give a bump, you'll feel it once if you had a dip this wide. Because there's two spots here that the bike is on, third one behind the back, suddenly this area is this wide of an area of the road that would make the difference of making your bike go dip or feel, because you've suddenly increased your tire width. Instead of being this, it's now this area here. So I guess you're going to feel more dips and dives in the road simply because of you've increased your surface. Other than that, the quick shifter works well on it. It does feel heavier, and it does feel on a Yamaha, heavier steering, but very positive. You do feel like you're on almost like a naked bike though, because of course you've got nothing in front of you at all except this mini-me screen here. There's quite a feeling of width here, something between your legs.
Alrighty, so open on the big straights here. 115 brake horsepower, what it's giving me here, compared to 113, funny enough, for the GT 900. Top speed is 217 kilometers an hour, same as the GT 900. Did I enjoy riding this? Yes, I did. Would I buy one? No, I would not. I just still like the principles of a motorcycle having two wheels, although the switchback through these corners is excellent. It gives you great confidence and the stability is just superb. However, you do feel those bumps. It is a little bit bumpy, of course, by 3 times. But on roundabouts and other areas in the wet, this would be awesome. It's just beautiful and smooth. And here are my final thoughts as I park up.
Well, there we had just a couple of people actually pull me over and wanted to talk to me about it. So that's how unusual it will get a lot of stares and a lot of looks about it. But 2 wheels in the front, 1 wheel in the back. It's a tricycle, for God's sake. It's not really a motorcycle. Crap mirrors, really bad. Most of the mirror is of your fist. The mirrors just don't work on this bike. To wrap it up, yep, a lot of fun. It rides similar to a motorbike, but I would be concerned of the running costs and the expense of this rather sophisticated front end here. For me personally, I still like a 2-wheeler, but it's been fun. So that's me signing off for Kiwi Grand Tours. Just a quick chat, not so much a technical blurb about these bikes, because you can get that on YouTube or Google anywhere. Just a few thoughts on a couple of Yamahas and a beautiful Saturday morning here in Hawke's Bay, Napier, New Zealand. This is the Fat Bloke for Kiwi Grand Tours signing off. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe.